Hi, this is Tattoo Tony playing my theme song. Enjoy.
Better be good, better not be bad, better watch Tattoo Tony's ads. Tattoo Tony needs money. If you want to watch new videos every single day, make sure you watch my ads so I get paid. I'll make a little bit of gas, gonna keep on driving around. I'll make videos of all the cool shit that I find when I'm going around. Better be good, better not be bad, better watch Tattoo Tony's ads. If you see a cool place, like a cool video, tell me the minutes and seconds and I'll print you an 8x10. I'll sign the back, I'll number the print, I promise I'll only print a couple. I got PayPal, accept credit cards, just pay me and I'll stick it in the mail. Tattoo Tony is coming to town. That's the Elijah Lovejoy Monument. Look him up. He was an abolitionist that moved down here from maybe Connecticut, I don't know, somewhere in the Northeast, and he was a minister who had a abolitionist paper here in Alton, and people around town or people from the area, St. Louis, I don't know, they didn't like him, and they kept warning him and trying to shut his press down. They destroyed it before, and he got another one. Then one night a bunch of townsfolk with guns held him up in his building, and to the best of my knowledge, they burnt the building down. I believe he died at that point, and they threw the press into the river down here in front of Alton and destroyed it. He was an abolitionist, part of the Underground Railroad ran through Alton. There's several buildings that are used as part of the dental college and also the Enos Sanitarium, which have tunnels where they hid slaves. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of old ones in here, bub. I'm gonna go over by this building here in a second. So that's Elijah Lovejoy, and here's a picture depicting when they surrounded him and set his place on fire. I'm sure you'll find it on Wikipedia or somewhere else. There's always some fucking piece of shit everywhere. Somebody left a Coors Light bottle in here. Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot of shit. Alton was right on the free side. St. Louis was in the with the northern states because Missouri was split in half, but there was a lot of Southern sympathizers, Confederate sympathizers in St. Louis. And at one point, the Union Army or men from Alton staged a raid where they went down to St. Louis and raided the munitions that were kept there and brought them back up the river on a barge because they were afraid that the sheriff and other local, well, I guess the word isn't dignitaries, but anyways, other people, sheriff, mayor, I don't know, people were Confederate sympathizers and they were afraid they were going to give those munitions to the South, so they went on a barge in the middle of the night, went down there and raided the munitions and brought them back up here. This lady lived for a long time, 1881 to 1957, 1876 to 1956. Wow, that would have been 86 years she lived. That's pretty good for back in the day, 1844 to 1923. There's even older headstones here. This is a very old cemetery. There's a lot of dead babies in this cemetery. That's not funny, and that's a weird way to say it. My grandfather told me that there was a lot of infanticide back then, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Well, if I'm reading this right, our dear mother, Anna Stein, died 71. I thought it said she was 15 years old. I found that awful strange. Let's go look at this building over here. I've never really looked closely. I feel sorry for the people that live in suburbs with new stuff, and you don't have things like this to look at. You've got all, you know, hardly any old stuff. My business, I work in those areas, and there's no way you could get me to live in the suburbs. At least my town is close to St. Louis, which is, you know, a city, and St. Louis used to be a very important city, so although it's not very big now, there's tons of old stuff, and this town was a somewhat important town at one point too. At one point this town was growing as fast as St. Louis, and it was a competitor with St. Louis as far as being a city. And so I have lots of old stuff and interesting things. I could make, you know, 100 videos in this cemetery showing different, unique, and interesting headstones. Mitchell. It's like there's all broken chunks of headstones in here. This is a very old structure. These are just piles of headstones piled up. Old lime headstones that didn't make it. I don't know which was cheaper, but if you couldn't afford granite and you had a choice between lime and metal, the metal one seemed to have fared a lot better. So keep that in mind when you're shopping. It smells kind of musty in here. Yep. I guess this is a mausoleum. Here's a weird one. In this cemetery, there's a lot of headstones that are forgotten about in plots that are sliding down the hill. As the hill erodes, they're just sliding down to nowhere. We're gonna go try to find some of the older ones. This is a very old cemetery, but some are older than others. This person had money. Anson B. Platt died September 19th, 1872 at 50 years old. 53 years old, 8 months and 10 days. I'm not familiar with the Platt family. I'm sure they must have some history in the town with markers like that.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you just for a second. You three, get over here and listen. Thank you very much. We're all going to be very respectful to the people who are talking because we're all learning right now. And if you want me to give you a quiz after, I most certainly can. Okay, then I suggest you be quiet and you listen to the person speaking.
Is the words show up better on here than they do when you look at them. Alright, I'm ready to go get the car. I wonder if this guy's related to Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp, the famous sheriff and gunfighter from the Old West, was born in Monmouth, Illinois, in the town my dad grew up in. And his childhood home is there. But we are also in Illinois, and here's a Reverend Earp. It may very well be a relative. Here's an interesting looking stone. It's old and worn, but it's pretty neat. I like when they carve and it looks like fabric or sheets on it. Okay guys, we made it to the old part. This is the really old part of the cemetery we're going into. I guess Viola hasn't died yet, or maybe they just forgot about her. This is an old section. Most of these people have been forgotten about. Some of these headstones are now missing, and a lot of them are starting to go down the hill. Either that or this is the poor man section. still cares about them. Kimball. He died in 2010. These are old broken pieces of headstone. Huh? Here's a poor man's headstone. You can't read it anymore. Some of these are made out of what I believe to be lime. And unfortunately, a lot of them are forgotten. Here's some very small headstones. There's chunks of headstones going down that wooded hill that have slipped off, and they're just, they're not where they used to be. You can't read them. There's a lot of bodies in here that are unknown. Further down the hill, there's a national cemetery. Down the edge of that hill, there's old, we'll see if we can read anything on the camera. Wayne! William Bennett, 1902 to 1966. Rest in peace. 1890 to 1968. Here's a set of praying hands. Wayne! Yoo-hoo, Wayne! He can't be alive still. I guess he was never buried. Maybe he remarried and buried somewhere else. Wow, look at this. Either they didn't have enough money or this was something sentimental that was done. (1938). Still of stillbirth. Wow, that one was interesting. Don't you ever come here and steal stuff, guys. If you do, I hope you get arrested. I hope something worse than that happens. Don't come here and think about taking any of this old stuff. Huh? Okay. Wow, there's tombstones in the woods, guys. There's headstones in these woods. Under trees that fall down. See those woods? See those woods over there? There's tombs. Not tombs, rather grave sites, even off in these woods. Old stuff that's all overgrown. Look at this one. Look at this. Here's a metal one. Luther Rogers, Corporal, U.S. Army, World War II, 1913 to 1978. This isn't even the part of the cemetery that's National Cemetery. Orville H. Powers, PFC, U.S. Army, World War II, June 1st, 1917 to September 1977. He was a Mason. Stewart. I knew some Sturritzes. I met a girl one time at the tattoo shop I worked at. Her family all lives in town, and their last name was Sturritz. I bet you they're related to her, guys. Yeah, I bet you I know some of their relatives. Come to Alton, definitely spend some time in this cemetery and look around.